What's up, everyone? And this is a very special moment for me because this is the first time this car will have actual motorsports grade coilovers, good suspension. At the end of the day, it's good suspension. So the Bilanx by ShaftWorks coilovers are here. We got the two-way adjustable remote reservoir setup, and I am pumped. I just took them out of the box. So this is the ShaftWorks double adjustables. These are set up just for this car. I sent them the cross weight or the overall weight of the vehicle, corner weights, all that good stuff. Told them how much power it makes, told them everything. And this is what we came up with. Down in the future, if I ever want to get tighter adjustment, I can always swap these Bilanx reservoirs out for Penske's. He basically does it for cost of the Penske canisters. All those get you is some more fine tune adjustment. We have spherical top mounts for the fronts and Goodwin Racing top hats for the rear. I'm gonna go ahead and throw these together here in a little bit, but first things first, I gotta get the old shocks out. And then for one of two reasons. One, the springs that go on these new ones we're using the same springs and spring rates. Nothing's changing there, but I gotta get the old ones out because I gotta do some bump stop measuring. You've already seen a video on that. Like I said, just need to run it through the cycles of the suspension, make sure our bump stops are at the right length, and we'll be good to go. For those that don't remember, our current setup is a set of Silvers North America Neomax. They are similar to BC, but they're just single way adjustable. And I mean, they worked pretty good. They got me by a couple, I think 3 seasons now. On this car. Definitely had some experimenting with spring rates and things, but they were good. But I always knew this was kind of the limiting factor. But I'll go ahead and pull these bad boys out, and then we can do a side-by-side comparison. All right, so we got the fronts out, and go ahead and look at the size difference in that main shaft. It's literally about double the diameter. It's awesome. But again, swapping over to sphericals, you can see I tried tightening these bushings down as far as they would go. That way they wouldn't flex all that much, but sometimes going to a spherical bearing is just better. So gonna go ahead and take these springs off. Probably gonna try cleaning them. That way I can ceramic coat those before putting them on these brand new shocks. So looking over what John sent over, these are the shock dyno results, and he also wrote some notes on here of start points. So I got front and rear set up here, so I know where I need to go with the shocks for the first time out. I have no idea what any of this stuff means, but it looks cool. All right, starting to assemble, and then I got both the rears finished up, and I remembered, hey, I need to measure for bump stops. So anyway, I have it to where this is actually loose now because everything is on this suspension. And we spin free, and we are on the bump stop, I think. I got to do some checking, but I think we are good. All right, that is really tight. I don't think we're even going to be able to get this close because the springs are going to bind well before this point. So that's a little interesting, but let's see, where are we hitting? Oh, I think we're hitting the upper control arm up there, maybe? Let's take a look. All right, so looking up here and looking all around, looks like, so it's pretty common for the Miata upper control arm to be contacting. We got gap, so it is on the bump stops here. Like I said, I think we're gonna be coil binding if we get it that tight, but overall, looks pretty good. No contact points there. Surprisingly, that's going to have more room than the Silvers did down there on that collar. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this back out and get this spring on. All right, so now we got the fronts that we're test fitting, and we have quite a bit of a bump stop that we're going to have to add. We might be able to just get by with the existing bump stop I had on my Silvers. I'm going to hope. And then we'll give it a shot, but let's see if I can get you guys a little closer. That's it. All right, so after talking with John, these are adjustable actually. And in order to avoid having to use these bump stops, he said, go ahead and lengthen the shock. So that's what I just did. It's actually just about fully extended. There is that slot where the hose goes through, and this is where we're looking. So this is full bump travel. I think there's an internal bump stop because the shock is bottomed out and the bump stop has maybe 0.5 millimeter of play in there before it makes contact. It's very close. Wheel spins, well, it kind of spins. The wheel's kind of off center right now because I only have one lug stud in, but gives you an idea of bump travel. And let's take a look at droop. By the way, I'm measuring from fender to the lip of the wheel, and right now this is 1 3/8 inches. Sometimes I don't think I'm an engineer. It's actually 1 3/16 inches. Anyway, I'm looking at bump or at droop right now. Holy cow, get a load of these numbers. So now we're at 7 3/8. So that puts us at a total of 6 3/16 of total suspension travel. That seems pretty nuts for a Miata. So I really don't know where I left off at, but car's back on the ground and I'm pretty happy. I only had to make one adjustment, and that's on the front. So let's show you guys how it looks. All right, so we got 5" at the pinch welds up front, 5.5 in the rear, or 5 1/4. The splitter is right at 3 3/4. So this is nearly perfect. I'm glad the rake is pretty good because I can't go lower in the rear. I have the helper springs in. I think that's where I missed off. John said I needed helper springs, and so I ordered some of those. They came in today, and I'll put some pictures in the video right now to show them assembled. But we got them in. Everything looks good. You can see that this is as low as the car will ever go, unless I remove the helper springs, which I could do, but John definitely recommends these, and honestly, I kind of like the look. So what I'm doing next is I just got off Amazon, I ordered some 50 millimeter fuel filter clamps, and I got to mount these reservoirs back here. Probably going to do something like that on both sides, right onto the center fender well right there. Let me show you what I'm going to do on the front. So up front, I have pretty much a mirror image on my charge pipes from my turbo and up to the intake manifold. So this is 3" intercooler piping on both sides. And basically what I did is I bought 3" fire extinguisher mounts for roll cages. So it's got a 2" or 1.5 to 2" clamp to mount onto any roll cage for razors, Jeeps, whatever. And then it's got a 3 to 3.5 inch clamp. They're adjustable to mount the fire extinguisher. So I'm gonna mount it straight to the charge pipe. They don't get warm, and I think I showed in the video, but if not, let me walk through it real quick. The only other place the hose would reach well, I could sit them in here, but surrounded by heat. The other option was tucking it back here. I'd have to hammer this in, and I'd still close to a water line, and then the wastegate here. So, I mean, it is a water-cooled wastegate, but that's still gonna be at like a constant, you know, this head up here is still gonna be a constant 200 degrees or so. I don't even wanna know what that is, but I just figured that's extremely hot. And when we come over here to the driver's side, I have even more stuff over here. So I can't fit it back here. There's brake lines and oil lines and PCV lines. I could fit it down there maybe, but it is so tight to route up and through there. So just decided, you know what? I'll mount it on the intercooler piping. I think there's plenty of room, and I think it'll be a clean install. Super easy, just reach down in here, pop the hood, and get to it. So then I'll have my compression adjustments here, rebound up right there, and we'll be good to go. On the rears, I'll have rebound inside the trunk, which on the Miata, it kind of sucks on the driver's side because you have the fuel filler neck. So, I mean, it's not that hard to get into there and make that adjustment. And then on the fender well, inner fender well, that'll just simply be reaching underneath the car. But I'm super happy, super pleased. John at ShaftWorks was great to work with. He had some great resources to be able to send me, to help me learn, help me set these things up. And overall, I'm just super happy. I mean, it's a coilover install on a Miata. You've seen millions of videos on those. I didn't care to record too much, but I am super excited to have some actual kind of race bred coilovers for this thing. It's a good change. I just looked back earlier today, we have an extra three inches of wheel travel now. Before, the fronts only had 3 inches, the rear had 3.5. Now we have 6 inches total. I did make a bump stop change in there. I think I showed you guys the white bump stops. Anyway, they were kind of a acorn shape. I cut the bottom part off and removed the ones that John sent, and it works perfect. I probably have 1/8 of an inch between the tire and the inner fender well, so the body, and I'm pretty happy with that. That's with it compressed. So anyway, thanks guys. Make sure you guys like, subscribe. I'm really looking forward to this race year. I'm nervous because never messed with two-way adjustable coilovers, so we will dive into that this year as well. See you guys.